the series ends by asking, will there be another Jesus movement? Based on your journey and what you're seeing in the church today, what you're seeing in culture today, how would you guys answer that?
I would say the time is right.
Mm,
Um,
good answer.
I can't even imagine. We have a Bible study here I live on an island. It's not like an island where you have to like take a boat to get to. It's you just drive over a couple bridges. But we have a Bible study on Thursdays. And one of the things that comes up is just thinking about all the people around us that
Mm,
don't know Jesus. And I mean, I've been a Christian since I was 19, 20 years old, and I'll be 78 coming up in September. So uh you kind of like take for granted the fact that you know the Lord, but it's in this time, if you weren't a Christian, I don't know what I would be thinking. I mean, it's just there's so much division, there's so much hatred, there's so much false stuff.
mm.
Um, I don't, it's perplexing to me. And I'm just glad that I'm a Christian, but I believe, like I said, that the time is right for another outpouring. And I know it's happening in places.
Hmm.
So, the time is right.
It's kind of interesting. We went to Expo 72, where there's a whole chapter on that. Billy Graham is in our film. Johnny Cash is in our film. Bill Bright was the leader of Campus Crusade. He and Dr. Graham came together to put on Expo 72. There's about 220,000 kids there. And Billy Graham had said something like that, you know, things like this, these revivals tend to happen with youth. I'm putting words in his mouth a little bit. But he said at the Cotton Bowl, he said, there's enough power in the stadium to change the world. Now, as we get a little older, we get kind of focused on work, vacation, traveling, retirement, all these different things that are just part of life. You're not as free as young people are to just, you don't have as much free time, generally speaking. And young people, I remember talking to David Crowder, and he said, man, when you go to college, that's when you're liable to lose your faith because it's a smorgasbord of 100 different ways to
Yeah.
do life, right? And that's why I really appreciate what Passion has done. And so the young people are getting that. There's a big resurgence in high school kids doing this. But my message to the church is do what happened in the Jesus movement. You older people facilitate what the young people are hungry for.
Yeah.
Don't ignore it. Don't push them out. We had people that, like Jay said, adopt us. They didn't adopt us. They moved us into their house, right? And
Yeah.
people fed us and they never condemned us or scolded us. They saw that God was doing something. My my problem sometimes with church is we don't know how to talk to non-Christian people like our neighbors on Jay's Island. I don't care where it is. If you're going to Starbucks, be friendly. Make a bridge. And because I was 24 years old before anybody ever told me about Jesus. That is just completely wrong.
Yeah.
I just wonder
Yeah.
how can you walk around this planet and nobody had cares about you enough to go like, hey, you ever looked into Jesus? Because I think most people don't know it. They've never
Yeah.
biblically illiterate. They haven't read the Bible like me. So
Yeah.
we need to reach out and hug people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
My parents, were not, we never went to church. They weren't, when I became a Christian and I was kind of like a little bit of a hippie Christian, and that kind of really bothered them.
Yeah.
Uh, they kind of almost wrote me off, but I went to Hawaii with the clothes on my back and $5 after a 20-day fast and figured I could probably live off of anything I could find. And I had friends over there that were surfers, but I took off with my Bible. That was it. And just trusting God that He was going to provide for me. I stayed there for about 3 months. I
Wow.
got a place, I got a room in a house right on the beach, friends from where I kind of grew up. And when I came home, I was like a fanatic for a while. I was 20 years old. I went up and down my street to every house and
Hmm.
sat down with whoever and told them about God and about Jesus coming into my life. But I didn't really know a lot about anything. I just had this reality that came into my life that there is a God and Jesus saved, washed away my sins. So it took a while. I didn't never thought about going to a church. I went to a church when I got back, and this pastor offered me a cigarette, and I go, well, this is not going to happen. But anyway, when we went to Calvary, that was a big deal. I mean, we avoided churches for a long, long time, years.
Well,
So when you,
I actually got hungry to know God. I went to some churches and it was the most empty feeling.
yeah,
I didn't understand what was going on. It was just all this tradition I had no connection with. Nobody said hello to me.
Mm.
Nobody
yeah,
even said hi. So when you walk into a place where you sense God's presence, your antenna goes up. Like, well, there's a lady over here first, right next to a hippie, and the music's really corny, but people love each other. But when they sing these corny little worship songs, I feel like they actually are singing to God and He's here. What's going on? And and we got curious enough to start coming back, And I hope that happens with young people. I have a lot of friends in church leadership, I have a lot of pastor friends. Listen, there's a lot of things that still need fixing in church, but it's pretty basic. If you could do the three or four things well, you'd have people coming into your church. You'd have to expand the walls
yeah,
and buy a bigger building. It's not rocket science. Love
yeah,
God, love people, teach the word, pray for people. Pretty basic. And
yeah,
just let's realize that, a person who doesn't know Christ, you don't judge them. They just don't know anything yet.
yeah,
They haven't. And my kids say, you're not really a real Christian until you had the personal experience. Until you know that God has come into your life and you know that you know Jesus. That was me too for a while. I read the Bible. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I didn't really ask. I didn't know what it meant to ask Christ to be my Savior. When that happened, no looking back ever.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more Christ-centered journalism.